We are live on She Africa, the web series where we have talks and hangouts and interviews with women from Africa and abroad.
I'm glad we were able to hook up.
Yes, yes. I was a bit nervous, and I don't know why, because I've never been nervous before to meet someone. So Kass,
Are you sure it was nervous or is it just excitement?
or just excitement? Yeah, it could be. It could be excitement.
Yeah.
So Kass, you're in Johannesburg now. Okay, and you've been coming to South Africa, and is this your third time, fourth time?
This is my third trip to South Africa, and
Okay.
each time it's life changing and transformational, and this time really just amazing, amazing. It's funny because I'm supposedly going home today, and I already feel home. So how,
Yeah.
so how does
Yes,
that work?
yes, and I think you're going to be coming more to Africa because I would definitely like to work with you at some stage to see how we can share you as a being with people and women, because that's what I do. I've got the She Africa network, and I've got another network called She's Connected SA, and it's primarily focused on women, and women in business, and how to sort of mix their personal lives and their business lives, and then get that to balance out so that they can be the most that they can be.
That's the same thing I
I've
do.
got your Yeah. So, but I would like to get to. I would actually like to get to where you are, because you're traveling the world and you're meeting people all over, and it just seems like you're just living the life.
Yeah, it's so amazing because I'm living, and I hear people say, "Oh my goodness, you have this amazing life," and then I look at it as opposed to living it, and I said, "Yeah, I guess it is. How do we create the life that we love and live the
Yes.
life that we desire?" So that's sort of what I talk about in my workshops, in my upcoming book, Dancing with Riches, and the work that so many of us, including you, obviously do around the world, all contributes to that. So how do we get people to know what it is that they desire, recognize that, not what someone else told us it should be, and really tailor your own lifestyle? Because a lot of times we're building a life that we've seen on television, that we've imagined as children, or whatever that is. But how much of that actually speaks to who we are? And we're all so much the same. And it's those little differences that actually make our lives worth living for us. And that could be very, very different. So I am excited also about coming not back, because what would it take to never go back anywhere, but just to go forward? So coming
Yeah.
forward again to South Africa and playing with you and your amazing network, that would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, talking about home, I always say that wherever you are, that is home, because you're in your body. So when you're comfortable with your body, then that's basically your home, and that'll make you comfortable anywhere else in the world.
So true, so
You,
true. And how many of
yeah,
us are
yeah.
actually comfortable in our bodies?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So, Kass, there's so many questions that I have for you. First of all, I got introduced to Access Consciousness, and I mean, at that time I was working, and I'm still working very hard on my business, because it's in pioneering phase, so it's brand new and it's emerging, and it changes by the day. And I was sitting at home going like, how can I be not just the creator in my life, but the co-creator? How can I get everything in my life to co-create together for me to go forward and be there for people and the planet and whoever requires me. And then
Mm.
Shalinda from Johannesburg, Shalinda.
Yes,
Um,
of course.
yeah, she sent me an email and she was like, Petro, you have to come to this event. And I was like, oh, I'm so busy, like I don't really have time to read this email. And eventually, like the day before, she and Graham came to Cape Town. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. And I hadn't even gone into it. I haven't read it. And that's how I got into Access Consciousness, by asking myself, how can I be the co-creator? And then I got introduced to this wonderful group of people and to Access Consciousness. And I
Yeah.
thought, wow, because it's so important to live in the now and live in question, and that's obviously what your workshops are focused on. And with your business experience, it gives you that added addition to be able to help people wherever they are in
Absolutely.
their phase of life. Yeah. So Cass, so how is a normal? Okay, let's start with just a normal bar session. Do you do the bars as well?
I do the bars. I just wanted to comment on your saying about co-creating, right?
Yes.
Because you know it's so key what you're saying, because it's often when we think that we are operating alone, when we think that everything that shows up in our lives and everything that we do, and all the successes we have, just are about what we can do with our own forces from our body, with our own body of knowledge, with our own experiences. And that's when you cut off 90%, if not 900%, of what's available to you. So when you talk about co-creation, I love that because we're co-creating always with everything and everyone around us. Everything can be a contribution when we're willing to recognize that as a possibility and also receive it. I mean, even the so-called disasters, even the so-called failures, they're all, if you're willing to receive the information from that, they are all contributions to what you're creating in your life. So none of us are here if we haven't gone through and had the experiences that we've had. And when you recognize that all of that's a contribution to you, then you start the magic and the creation. And you start saying, okay, if everything truly is a contribution to me, what contribution can I receive and what contribution can I be to moving forward in my future? So just that, right, is a wonderful question. What contribution can I be and receive from everyone and everything around me? And you know, with Access Consciousness, we work with questions, as you said, and we work with the clearing statement, which is basically asking the energy to sustain us, the energy of everything. Everything is energy, right? There's energy in everything. And so, so what contribution can I be and receive from everyone and every thing around me, and everything that doesn't allow that with ease, right? I now destroy and uncreate. And that's that is the clearing of access, the verbal processing, let's say. And then you say POC and POD, everything that doesn't allow that. Or, that's the short version, POC is the point of creation, and the point of destruction is POD. Meaning, wherever I stopped allowing that, go to the point of creation of that. And the moment before I stopped allowing that, and I created this as a limitation, and destroy and uncreate it. Uncreate is a made-up word. And what it basically is saying to the energy is, I'm ready for something new. Show me, universe, show me something new. Show me something beautiful. And so, and the long version of that is right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, short, boys, and beyond. It's available at theclearingstatement.com if you want to understand it a little bit better. But you don't have to actually understand it for it to work. You could just say pod, poc, or all that strange stuff Kass said. And it's the energy, not the words, that will actually change that. So that's a great question. You asked me how, and so I'm just giving you a couple of tools for you and your listeners and your viewers. What contribution can I be and receive from everyone and everything around me, and everything that doesn't allow that, I now pod, pocket, destroy, and uncreate. You can also ask, what can I add to my life?
Yeah, that's a
and
very
a lot
good
of
one.
times. A lot of times we feel overwhelmed or nervous, like you were saying, etc. And it's just about so much information that we're not really willing to receive, and sometimes we contract instead of expand. So expanding is a great tool. And how do you do that? You could just say expand, 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 expand. That's a really easy way to do it.
Yeah.
And then what can I add to my life? A lot of times we're like, what can I get rid of? I'm just going to move us a little bit because there's someone vacuuming, of course. And a lot of times we're like, what can I get rid of? Because it's not really working for me to be so busy. But instead of what can I get rid of, there may be something that you can add. Can you still hear me? There may be something that you could add to your life that would ease up some of the stress of something else going on. So, for example, if you have to spend 5 hours doing your taxes, you know, and that's one thing you have to do today and you have 20 other things, well, could you add someone to your life that could do that for you with much more ease, and you use those 5 hours to create something? And a lot of times people say, yes, but I don't have the money. Well, what if it weren't just about you having to pay someone in cash, but you having to to do something for you? What if you could contribute something to them that they get overwhelmed with and that is stressful for them? And in exchange, they would do your accounting for you. It's just an example. And that's something they do with ease. So, you know, recognizing the different contributions that you can receive from people and that you can be to people is really an expansive exercise and can literally change your life. I know that's powerful businesswomen like you. I can see that we think sometimes we have to do it all alone. And again, going back to the beginning or forward to the beginning of what I was saying, we don't do it all alone. And when we do it all alone, we don't invite the magic of the universe, God, Allah. We don't, and all those forces that would like to contribute to us, we don't actually allow them to when we're thinking we have to do it all alone. And we start locking all that tension into our bodies and start creating dis-ease in our bodies that then turns into sickness and blah, 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 blah. So what can we add to our lives and what magic can we be that if we were willing to be it would show up, would allow something very different to show up?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that's so valuable, Kass, and I'm so happy that you mentioned that because, you know, like, as busy women and moms and just, you know, I mean incredible women, and they are pioneering. They're going out there and they want to change the world and they want to be part of it, and they don't always have that ingredient, that missing ingredient. And I feel this is where women like you and me and, you know, the rest of them come in to say, okay, fine, well, don't go too much of your male space that's like driven, you know, just sit back, ask the questions, calm down, and get the people to help you, and then move forward. With what you need to
Absolutely. And, you know, women, we're naturally multitaskers. I mean, we naturally, I mean, come on, what other creatures on the planet can raise kids, organize the house, go to work, you know, be a great partner to someone, and then also think about, you know, creating something in their lives. So we're naturally multitaskers. And when we try to duplicate the monothematic density of this reality, like we're like, oh, maybe we should be more like someone else. No. Be more of you. Be annoyingly, exaggeratedly more of you, and see what magic can come to you in that way. So you asked me about the bars. The bars, Access Consciousness, some amazing tools. I work with the tools of Access Consciousness. Gary Douglas is the founder of Access Consciousness. Dane here is the co-creator of Access Consciousness, and he will be in Johannesburg the weekend of June 19th with his Being You, Changing the World class, which is just amazing. And that's where it starts. It really does start with being you and recognizing what your brilliance and difference is. Instead of it being a something that's wrong with you, find out what's right about you. I would so highly recommend that class. I'm trying to reorganize my schedule in the universe to be here for that weekend, but I'll certainly be here probably a couple of times this year again. So if I'm not here for Dane's class, in my physical body, I will definitely be here for that. And of course, accessconsciousness.com, lots of information about that. You can also find information about Access and the classes I do on my website, kassthomas.com, and my fan page, The Art of Being Kass, on Facebook. Yeah.
So the Art of Being Kass, how do we get to work with you? You know, like, what are your requirements for somebody in Africa? Because that's where our focus is mainly going to be, is to bring people over from wherever they are to come and speak to the women that we know.
Right.
And hopefully getting the women to co-create more of these events, you know, and I'd like to be right in the middle of it, receiving and gifting everything that's possible. So I'm actually getting quite excited. Yeah. So how do we get to work with you? Like, what's the requirement? What is your requirement?
Well, my requirement is that you be you, that you show up as you, and that you're willing actually to receive the contribution that I am. So those are my requirements, and that you get it and you're excited about it. And so I don't really have a set requirements. This interview, I'm so grateful that you invited me. And thank you to Megan Rogers and also to Charlinda for introducing us. And I believe it's the beginning of creating something. I just want to say something about the co-creation thing. A lot of times, we, the co-creation I feel is really with the universe. You talked about people want to know what's missing in their lives. Usually, they are what's missing in their lives. So when
sorry, I just wanted to add on that. What I find is most people are so God-fearing. And when you go to them with these tools and you want to work on an energy level, and I have to say, because I'm sure that I'm not the only one, is that growing up, I've had quite not the struggle, but quite an intense way of not being able to speak to people, because what I know and what I sense and what I feel, I wasn't able to put in words and communicate that, other than just saying what the hell was going on. And then as a child, quite often, your parents would go like, what do you know? You're a child, But when you know, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of this class with Dane, because a lot of us, what we know has never really been encouraged. We've never really been encouraged to know what we know, and that's what the Access Consciousness, the sort of tagline is, empowering people to know what they know. And the other thing that I want to say is that we learn really early that it's not always received when we are expressing verbally what we know. So just a little tool. Never cut off everything you know. However, what you communicate to people when you're willing to receive the information is what they're able to receive with ease. What would create more here is a fabulous question, Petro. What would create more here? And sometimes what would create more is not saying everything you know. I used to think that. I used to be like, oh, I have to tell, this is what I know, and I have to tell everyone. And you know what? You don't have to tell everyone all the time. You know what I mean? So really looking at what is, and that's everything you know, and what will work, and what is working for you, what's not working for you, and choosing after you ask questions. Different possibilities come up. I could say everything, I could say half of it, I could say part of it, I could say some now, I could say some later. Choosing, once all those possibilities present themselves, that choice which would create more and which would be a contribution to the situation. A couple of things. First of all, as we were saying before, if you are really cognizant and not only cognizant, if you know that you are really connected with everything, with the earth, with the universe, with the planet, then the depletion doesn't happen. And a lot of people say to me, you must be really tired after your sessions. And I say, no, because I'm not just doing the sessions. I'm actually allowing myself to receive. And the interesting thing about Access is, there is no investment in the outcome. And when you don't already have an intention, a preconceived notion of how something shows up, everything and anything is possible. And we all have to remember, it took me a while, that we're so sometimes wanting more for people than they actually want for themselves. So we can be the invitation for people to step into something greater, but they actually have to accept the invitation. Like, you can make the phone call, but if they don't pick up the phone, you can insist, and that's when you start depleting, right? So everywhere we have all been wanting something more for other people than they have wanted for themselves. And being in a position of superiority, like we know better for them what they should be doing. Can we destroy and uncreate all that? Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, short, poison. It's so easy to see for other people. If they would just do this, they could succeed. If they would just do this. And you know what? We get it when we get it. And too much at one time can also not be very kind on your body and on the person. So when we are ready, when we have made the sort of demand in our universe that we are going to universe from God, from Allah, from Buddha, from all the messengers, from the plants, from the trees, from the animals. I was at a house with contribution to me, the animals, So what is it that we have decided we cannot receive from, that we truly could receive from and can receive from, and that if we would allow ourselves to receive from that, would change our lives and give us more possibilities than we ever imagined. So everything that is times a godzillion, and everything that doesn't allow that times a godzillion, let's destroy it and create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pot, fuck, short, boys, and beyonds. And in terms of religion, what I have found when people don't have a fixed point of view, that the tools of access can be applied to anything, any religion, any business, any belief system that you already have. Asking questions allows you to receive more. So really, if yeah, and it's so funny, a lot of times people are into a lot of different new age things and spiritual things, and they actually have found the answer there. So there's no room for question. And what I find with people who are truly religious, who truly believe in the power of something greater, the power of the universe. I mean, something greater is than you. I mean, you are a drop of water, as they say, in the ocean. And you're part of the ocean, and you're that drop of water. So there is not a separation. There is somehow your who you are, and who you are is part of something larger. So when people are truly, when I say truly religious, whatever that means, but recognize the contribution they get from their religion, then they're so willing and so grateful for the tools of access that allow them to explore the religion without the fear that sort of that is not real. It's not. I mean, there's no fear. God is not a fearful God. God is the universe and the trees and the plants and everything, and so willing all those energies to be a contribution to us. So what would it be like if we were really, truly willing to be a contribution to ourselves? And everything that doesn't allow that times the godzillion, destroy and create all that. And when right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, short, boys, mounds. When we're willing to be that, Petra, our business, our relationships, everything starts to flow. And that's what my book is about, Dancing with Riches, about getting into the flow of life and allowing the abundance of everything of the universe to be a contribution. My darling, I have to leave you. I have to leave you. I have a flight, but we're going to play again, I hope.
But Kass, let's connect again via Google Hangout, because the information that you're sitting with is so valuable, and it is exactly what's needed and required for everybody else to go out and do what they do to connect you to whoever we can connect you with. So, and just to leave you, like, for instance, one of my big dreams is to create a festival where I have these experts come in and women come in, and I mean, I'm talking about thousands of people, I want thousands of women together, experiencing, the collective, like, awareness of their beingness. And you're one of the women that I'd like to get involved in on that, because you've done this for 10 years, and I'm sure that you've seen amazing results. And that's something that I'm going to talk to you again real soon about.
Yay!
Yes. So, Kass, you have a safe trip. And, let's talk again soon.
Yes, please. Yes, we're hooked up on Google, on email, on Skype, and everything, and now energetically.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much for inviting me. You too, darling.
Bye.
Thank you. And thank you for everyone who's listening and will listen.
And more.
And more. Ciao, Bella. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.